Pierce.
Good afternoon.
Welcome back, everyone, to another Ned and Pierce episode. We're nearing number 40, I think, Pierce.
Yes.
Yes?
Close. I don't actually have that list up, but yeah, we're not far.
Since our last show, we have restarted school.
Yes.
The holidays have sadly ended for us.
On our first week of our last term 2 of our last year of high school.
Yes.
I'm glad I wrote that down.
A bit of a mouthful there, Pierce.
Yeah.
Not much else has happened, though. The school has introduced an interesting point system, which we will elaborate further on later.
It's funny to exploit a system.
It is
but
funny.
It's hilarious to exploit a system immediately.
I know.
And that's what we've done. That's coming up.
Later in the hour.
Big thanks to Paul
for taking us through to 12.
Mm-hmm.
We've got you through till 3 when Peter will be taking over for his drive time show.
That's right.
Also coming up later in the hour, we've got Ned and Pierce's odd news.
You always forget it. I'm glad that you stopped there, but yeah.
Yes, no, I'm getting used to it in my head, Pierce. We've got Ned and Pierce's odd news.
I'm launching a new segment.
You're launching a new segment?
I've never actually had a segment before, but I'm launching a segment.
Is that coming this show?
That's coming this show.
I'm very excited. Make sure to stay tuned for all of that and more. But before that,
this is Adam the Ants with Stand and Deliver on Rose City FM 89.3. Now, we mentioned in our opener that we exploited our school's new reward system.
The school, on the very first day, the second day that we went there, they introduced a brand new rewards point system. So the rep points. Because every school has their version of like the 3 C's, the 5 R's, the 3 R's. I don't know. But ours, we've got rep. We've got respectful, engaged, and prepared.
It was originally RIP, but then they thought that was a bit...
Yeah, the PNC voted that one down. They thought it was too many negative connotations.
Yeah, especially when our school is directly across the road from a cemetery.
Yeah, exactly. So for now, we're stuck with rep. And they've introduced these new stamp cards. And each teacher has a stamp, and they can stamp it with rep stamps. So when you get a certain number of full cards, you can trade them in for
things like
for points.
Like a pencil case.
Rewards.
Yeah, lollies.
And for 10 full cards, you can have lunch with your favourite teacher. Now, I saw this one and I immediately thought, bingo.
Yes. As did so many people.
That's exactly what I want, because I think that would be really funny to be able to sit down with our favourite teacher, mine being Mr. G. You want to go for Mr. Casanova.
Mr. Casanova. And the reason we're saying these names over air, or on air, is because... Well, they're not really their real names.
Yeah, they're abbreviated versions of their names for anonymity. But
we do call them
We do call them that, yeah. And so I want to... My grand plan is to have like a little area set up in the school with maybe like a white tablecloth and a few little candles.
You want it to be romantic.
A romantic lunch with Mr. G.
I wouldn't mind cashing mine in at the same time as you, so we could like go for a bit of a double date.
A double date. But me and Pierce mentioned we're also trying to exploit this system. Now it takes a very long time to get 10 rep cards, and I think they made it the top prize because they don't expect any students to go for it.
One of the other teachers reckons they put that in there as a joke.
As a joke, yeah. But we have replicated the rep stamp. Now, we're pretty confident that none of our teachers are going to hear this show because they're all over in Stanthorpe. And so we've replicated the stamp so that we can create our own stamp cards. Now, we're not just going to cash them all in.
No, because that'd be suspicious.
That'd be very suspicious. So we have to wait a while.
I've been hunting stamps, actually, from all the teachers. Sweet-talking the teachers. I go up to them. My general line is, hello, thank you for your service. And then I'll pull out from behind my back my planner, which has my stamp card in it.
I've been there. I've seen this in action. It's kind of subliminal messaging, like holding out the card and being like, I just think I've been really prepared today, really ready. And I go, okay, Pierce.
Sometimes if they don't notice that, I'll go, oh, what the heck? My stamp card's here.
My stamp card? What? I just happened to be carrying that on me.
What a coincidence.
But yeah, and so we're going for the top prize. The lunch with the teacher.
Lunch with the teacher. With my teacher, Mr. Casanova, he hates me.
Yeah, because you keep calling him Mr. Casanova.
No, but he has a real name, which we won't say on air. But I'm pretty sure I say his real name wrong anyway as well.
Yeah.
But he started to just really not like me. He ignores me when I start speaking to him. So I think it'd be funny to force him to have lunch with me.
So naturally, 10 rep stamp cards is a very long way off. So it could be a very long time before we have an update on this story. But we will come back with an update in the future. We will have a whole segment. I reckon we record them. We'll have a little awkward lunch date segment with our teachers.
Yeah. I can't wait.
I can't wait either. Until then,
this is Libs Don't Lie, Ali Brooke, and Boogie with the Hoodie.
Tonight on Ned and Pierce's Odd News from around the globe, a Florida woman has narrowly survived being struck by a flying turtle. A 71-year-old woman driving down the interstate highway suffered a nasty gash to the forehead when a turtle unexpectedly smashed through her windshield. The woman survived and has since made a full recovery. However, there is no comment on the condition of the turtle.
Can't even laugh at things anymore, this Mike. So we're back in Florida again. So Florida police capture a loose lemur. However, another is still on the run. The captured lemur was taken to a licensed facility for interrogation on the whereabouts of the second lemur, who still remains at large. At this point, the investigation is ongoing.
And a woman in Krakow, Poland, was quite frightened by what appeared to be a strange animal hanging from a nearby tree. When police showed up, the mystery critter was caught bread-handed, which turned out to be a croissant.
And Facebook has gotten itself into strife after taking down the page for the official French town of Bitche. Another of the country's towns, Roubaix-les-Bitches, renamed its page to Villa de Roubaix out of fear.
And 24 monkeys escaped from a zoo in Germany. The monkeys spent the day hanging out in the sun in a nearby forest before being swiftly recaptured.
An aggressive goose has been scaring away business for a local diner in New Jersey. Witnesses said the male goose has frequently been spotted in the parking lot at the Park West Diner in Woodland Park and has been acting threatening towards customers and employees.
And that's all for tonight for Ned and Pierce's Odd News from around the globe. Make sure to stay tuned. We've got plenty of good music and chatter left to come, starting with Armin van Buuren and Trevor Guthrie. This is what it feels like.
This is Ned and Pierce.
Wish You Well by Bernard Fanning. You're listening to Ned and Pierce on Rose City FM. We're very quickly approaching the end of our first hour. Make sure to stay tuned for the second one, where we've got some great stuff coming up, including a brand new Ned's Odd Occurrence. Another maritime mystery this time, a little closer to home. But until then, it's Bobby McFerrin reminding us, don't worry, just be happy. Followed by Congos, Come With Me.
Good Charlotte. On Rose City FM 89.3, The Anthem. Now, Ned, I did mention that I was going to be launching a new segment today.
Yes,
my very own segment.
I'm very interested.
You're heavily involved with this one.
Ah, nice.
Now, you might have been wondering earlier why I snuck into your room for about 30 seconds.
Is it something like things I grabbed from Ned's room? Is it?
Our City, Good Time. Now, Ned, it's time for the segment
I'm very excited.
That I'm calling, What Did Pierce Steal from Ned's Room?
Oh, no.
Right. So your room's pretty messy.
It is pretty messy. I will freely admit to that.
Yes, I wanted to know if you actually knew it was in there. And basically, the rules for this, you get 3 guesses as to what I've stolen from your room. And if you get all of them wrong, I get to keep it.
Okay, so you've stolen something and I have to guess what it is out of the many hundreds of items in my room.
Yes.
And if I don't get it, you get to keep it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to have to try and think of some of the more obscure items.
I've got some, like a suspense crime sound effect. Because I've stolen something from you, just to add to the atmosphere of this.
A bit of a whodunit.
Yeah. All right. So would you like your first hint?
Yes.
It comes in a case.
It comes in a case. It wouldn't happen to be my pair of West Coast shades from our sponsor, West Coast Shades, would it?
Wrong.
So it comes in a case. Do I get a second hint?
The noise it makes when you open this case is more like a... So it's like one of those Velcro things.
Okay. I don't remember how many Velcro cased items I have in my room. I'm going to go with... Oh, it's a tough one. You've started the first segment off with something difficult.
Something very difficult. Would you like another hint?
I would like another hint, yes.
It makes this noise.
So it makes a meh noise.
Yeah.
They're kind of like a sheep.
I guess you.
I don't remember having any sheep.
They do have some sort of a connection to sheep. It does
have some sort of a connection to sheep. So in a Velcro case, has a connection to sheep.
Yeah.
It's. I noticed you've got like a very short crime sound loop.
Yeah, it's looping. Do you want to know what it is? Or for the sake of wrapping this up,
do we have a countdown?
A countdown? No.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't think you'd take this long to figure it out. Okay. I genuinely thought you had some idea of what was happening in your room.
Well, I've got a lot of stuff in my bedroom.
Yeah.
It's
maybe this is just a message that you need to, if you don't get this, I get to keep it. All right, I'll give you one more hint. The other day you told me I might need to do it.
I give you so much criticism like this that it's going to be hard to pick.
I took it as a compliment.
Okay, you took it as a compliment. You're going to need to something as a compliment. I don't know. Get less handsome. That's not.
Wrong again. I'm sorry. Would you like to know what it is?
I would like to know what it is. Yes.
It's this thing.
It's that thing. That's an electric razor. Does this mean I'm going to have to buy another electric razor?
That's exactly what it means. I hope you know that I'm genuinely serious. I'm not giving it back.
Oh, was this whole segment just an excuse to steal an electric razor from me?
No.
This is Ned and Pierce.
That was scary.
Ned's on occurrences from around the world.
I smell a mystery.
It's a mystery.
Welcome back, one and all, to Ned's on Occurrence from around the globe. Last show, we looked at the mystery of the Mary Celeste, an entire ship whose crew completely vanished. This week, we continue with the theme of maritime mysteries and look at the Kaz 2, Australia's very own Mary Celeste scenario. On April 14th, three men, Derek Batten and Peter and James Tunstead, would leave Chute Harbour on a trip headed for Townsville. However, the men would encounter troubles with their navigation equipment and would stop in nearby Airlie Beach. On April 15th, they would depart at around 7 o'clock in the morning. At 9:30, Peter received a call from his wife. The men were in high spirits, and Peter told his wife that they were about to brew some coffee. Little did either of them know that the three men would never be heard from again.
It was really bad coffee.
It was terrible coffee, so bad they all just jumped right into the ocean.
I'm here too, by the way.
Pierce is also here. He's been sitting quietly in the corner listening to the story. But that...
Sitting on the ground with my legs crossed. Sorry, I'm very...
But that, however, is not the end of the story. A woman... Oops. Pardon my English. A woman named Isabel Wheeler claimed to have seen the Kaz 2 while she was fishing in a cove north of the ship's departure point. The ship had turned in front of the cove and sailed straight out to sea. A member of the search and rescue team for a nearby town also claimed to have made radio contact with the Kaz 2 that morning. Another man in the same town also spotted the ship, who also claimed it headed straight out to sea. On April 17th, two fishermen fishing in a reef almost 25 kilometres off the coast saw the Kaz 2 drifting through a reef nearby with its sails torn nearly in half. On April 19th, the ship was boarded by the Coast Guard, only for them to find no trace of the men. Everything seemed to be left in place, with no sign of a struggle. Nothing had been taken. Even Peter's glasses had been left on a table on the ship.
So it's all very similar to the other one.
It's all very similar to the Mary Celeste.
Maybe we're uncovering something here.
A coincidence. They did happen several hundred years apart, but...
A clan of polite pirates.
A clan of polite pirates. There was nothing to indicate piracy, considering that there was no signs of a struggle.
That's why they're polite pirates.
Very polite pirates who convinced them to go onto their boat. Yes, and it's weird to see to notice that Peter's glasses had been left on a table, because if you're abandoning ship,
you're going to want to see where you're going. Yeah,
with you. Yeah. Also, this ship had no lifeboats, seeing it was just a small commercial catamaran. So there was no lifeboats missing.
No way for them to escape.
Exactly, but also the life ring was still on the ship as well.
Okay.
Indicating that there had been no fall overboard, and there was no attempted rescue of one of the group members.
Yeah.
And yes, also the engine was still running when the ship was found. It was idling. So, you know how it's basically a ship's version of just being left in neutral and drifting along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, no, a very interesting story. In the end, no one knows what happened to the 3 men that disappeared from the Kaz 2. The complete lack of evidence or any signs of a struggle or anything that might make the men abandon ship has baffled investigators for years. We may never know just what happened that fateful day, and unless some new evidence is discovered, we never will.
This is Ned and Pierce.
Sorry. Sorry. That's it's the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Sorry about that.
I've got a bit of a cold at the moment. You've really got to warn me when you turn on the microphones.
We just had a quick thing to talk about Shaquille O'Neal. He's recently become the ambassador for a betting company.
Betting company. It's like the sports bet.
Yeah, points bet. I decided to bleep it in the grab.
There's one called Ned's as well. There's so many.
No affiliation to you, I hope.
Exactly. Yeah. There's no sport. There's a whole lot of sports betting companies out there.
Yeah,
these days.
No, but I think this particular company has put themselves in a compromising situation. I'll play what their sort of tagline is.
It's shacking easy to bet anytime, anywhere with a bet app.
What happens? Sorry, it sounded weird with the bleep in there. But what happens if Shaq pulls out?
Their whole tagline revolves around Shaq.
It's shacking easy.
It's shacking easy.
Yeah, it's like, what happens if Shaq pulls out? But at the same time, I feel like Shaq was their second celebrity that they were gunning for, because if you think about it, shacking easy doesn't really rhyme with anything, and it doesn't really sound like anything.
Yeah,
I feel like they might have had Chuck Norris originally.
Chuck Norris. That would they definitely should have gone worked that angle. That would have worked a lot better. But you do have a good point, Pierce. If Shaq pulls out, their tagline will drop down.
Yeah, it's like,
it's easy.
Oh crap! What do we do?
It's easy.
It's just easy, and then maybe I'll try to get Chuck Norris back. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, well, we've got It's the End of the World with REM on Rose City FM 89.3. More music variety. That is Simple Plan. I'm Just a Kid on Rose City FM 89.3. It's 13 minutes past 2. And Ned, you do some stupid things as a young kid.
Yeah, of course you do.
They sometimes come back to bite you.
Yes.
And this is actually sort of what's happened to me.
Interesting.
I'm gonna tell this story in about under 10 minutes, I reckon.
So everyone's listening, make sure you stay tuned for that.
That's right. This is the Lumineers. Sleep on the Floor on Rose City FM 89.3. You're with Ned and Pierce. Ned, you do some silly things as a kid.
Youngster.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, of course.
Our group's thing was, parkour and that.
Parkour, yes. Yeah. I have very vivid memories of parkour.
Yeah.
There's one specific one that always rings in my head. There was like a metal rail, and so I was like jumping over it. I thought I was looking really cool, doing like this kind of box jump thing over it.
Yeah.
And then an older kid who I think was like year 11 or 12 at the time.
Yeah.
He came past and he said, "Do it again." And I jumped over it. And I remember my feet clipped it, and I just fell on my face. And everyone, like, there was a bunch of people watching, like a bunch of our friends watching.
Yeah. Everyone laughed, including myself, because it was funny. And it's that sort of thing. Like, if you're in year 7 or you're just young and you're doing things that you think are cool, it's not.
Yeah.
Stop it now. Stop it.
Yeah, you'll especially the people who are currently doing parkour. You'll look back at it in several years.
Yeah,
and
like we knew all the names of the
embarrassed.
vaults. Yeah,
we were like, "Oh, I'm going to do this the spaghetti vault over this fence
the
here."
triple 360 bong, and you just you couldn't do it, but yeah, you tried. You didn't look very cool either. It just felt cool. But yes, something has come back to bite me at the bus stops. Ned, do you remember the sneaky apple core?
The sneaky apple core.
It was a thing that I would do.
Yeah.
I'd always save my apple for the end of the day, and I'd have my apple, and then I'd go and find someone and sneakily put the apple core in their bag because I thought it was funny. And in hindsight, it still is sort of funny.
It's kind of funny, but it is also kind of a little mean-spirited when you think about it. Because if someone didn't find that apple core, they could have a very bad time cleaning out their bag.
Now, fast forward to year 12. A couple of nights ago, I was closing at work, and I needed someone to stay back with me just for a little bit longer. Anyway, it came to this one kid, Harry. He's a friend of ours.
Yeah.
One set of a couple of twins, and not one set, just one half of the
twins.
Anyway,
it's the first edition.
Anyway, I was like, "Hey, can you stay back?" And he was like, "Oh, yeah." And I was like, "Oh, your mum's not going to like me very much." Yeah. He's like, "Nah, don't worry. She just knows you as the apple core kid." He was one of my first victims.
He was one of your first victims of the apple core.
So,
that's got to be several years on now. That's a very long time since the apple core
constantly
thing
in this lady's memories, the apple core kid.
The apple core
So if you're doing something that you think's cool, don't.
Yeah, it's most likely not.
This is Ned and Pierce.
Now, I mentioned earlier that Pierce has a bit of an irrational fear going at the moment.
Yes, there is something that keeps the Johnson family awake at night. My family, the Johnson family. Acid rain.
Acid rain. Yes, a bit of a fear that I mentioned as being quite irrational because statistics show that it has never and probably will never acid rain in this area. Now, Pierce, would you like to explain why you're so scared of acid rain?
I don't think there's anything scarier than acid rain, to be honest.
Rain.
It sounds scary. Acid falling from the sky, burning you to shrivelly pieces. You're melting. What are you going to do?
Well, Pierce, I would like to share a few scientific facts about acid rain with you that may calm the Johnson family down when they're trying to sleep at night. So, acid rain is usually not high enough, low enough of a pH to burn through skin. Usually, acid rain is a problem for people who build things because it slightly corrodes the corners of buildings. And it will irritate your skin slightly, and you'll be able to just move out of the way.
Well,
move undercover.
You're not invited to the Johnson family acid rain bunker.
Acid rain bunker.
Yeah. Well, we're safe from acid rain when it starts to acid rain here in Australia, in Stanthorpe. You won't be safe. We'll be safe. You won't.
I'd like to assure our listeners that acid rain probably will never and has never been a problem here, that Pierce is completely insane.
Don't be too sure. It's a very real issue, and you're not safe.
We're not safe.
Anytime it rains, be wary.
Anytime it rains, be wary. It could be acid rain. I guess we'll never know. Coming up next, we've got Summer Holidays by the Radiators. You're listening to Ned and Pierce on Rose City FM 89.3.
Yes, and that has brought us to the end of our show.
We looked at another interesting boat-related incident this week. You know what? For next week, I might try and find another one. We'll see if we can make it a hat trick.
I can confirm that Ned will not be receiving his razor. I am not giving it back. So he has lost it completely.
Thank you for that, Pierce. And this is the end of our show, but this doesn't have to be the end of your Ned and Pierce experience today. You can find our podcast. The second episode is up now, actually. Available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you can find a podcast. You can listen to us.
Did we say the name?
Did we say the name? Oh, yes, of course. The Department of Shenanigans and Tomfoolery. Very important.
Look that up. You'll find the links to it on Google and on Spotify and that. Peter is in the studio. He's ready, and he's ready to take you to 6 o'clock. So you're in good hands.
Thanks for listening, Warwick. We'll see you in a fortnight.
Radio like you've never heard it before.
In fact, this is worse than you've ever heard it before.
This is Ned and Pierce.